Hi everybody, in this episode I'll show you how to add animation to an icon widget in Flutter. I'll animate the icon to grow from 0 to the desired size and rotating at the same time. So I'm using Visual Studio and I've created a new Flutter project and I've added a new Dart class and I've already defined my rotating icon widget. So this is the widget that we're going to build today. So I'll start off by rendering an icon on the center of the screen. For that, I'll override the build method to return new material, new material widget, and set its child to center, since I want my icon in the center, and set the child of center to inkwell. I'm using this widget to make the widget clickable. Finally, I'll set the child object of the inkwell to a new icon. I use the pizza icon. Local pizza, set the color to green and also change the size to 80. Semicolon here. Alright, so let's test our application and see how it looks. I forgot the return key here. Save it. And here's our icon in the center of the screen. Now next, I'm gonna introduce the animation controller class. For that, I've already imported the animation package. And I forgot to mention earlier that I've modified the main.dart to set my new widget to be the home screen. Alright, so the animation controller class is used to generate a new value whenever the hardware is ready for a new frame. By default, it linearly produces numbers from 0 to 1.0. So let me start by defining my animation controller class. I'll call it controller. And also I'll define my animation, which I'll call it animation. I'll need to set the values to initialize my variables inside the init state method. So the animation controller, as I've said, will be used to generate numbers from 0 to 1 for a specified duration. So let's say I want my animation to be duration to be for, let's set it to 1 second, and it also accepts a vsync parameter, which is used mainly to prevent off-screen animation from consuming unnecessary resources. Now we can use our stateful object as the vsync by adding single ticker provider state mixing class to the class definition. So this is going to be here with single ticker provider state mixing. All right. So for the vsync now, we can set it to this. Okay, so this is our controller class. Now, since I want to generate numbers from 0 to 80, which is the final size of the icon, I cannot use animation controller by itself. I can use the Tween class. The Tween class is used whenever we need to a different range or even a different data type, for example, like integer or double. We can use Tween. Its job is to define a mapping from an input range that is provided by the animation controller 0 to 1. So to map, to do the mapping from one input range to an output range, which is gonna be from 0 to 80. So I'll set the animation to new tween of type double. This expects a begin and end, so I'll set it to begin at 0 and end at 80. Then I'll call the animate method and set the parent to be our controller. Okay, next I'll add the listener. I'll use the listener to rebuild the widget whenever a new value is generated. So for this, I'm going to call the this.setState, which will automatically instruct the Flutter framework to rebuild the widget. Okay, that's it. And finally, to activate the animation or generating the numbers, I'll need to call the forward method on the animation controller. Then I'll get the animation value and set it to the size. So this will range from like 0 to 80. And also I'm gonna use the untap event on the inkwell. So it's not here, should be here. And I'll create an event handler for that. Let's define our event handler. Untap. What I'll do here, I'll check if the animation state status is completed, so that this will be animation status.completed. I'll call the forward again. Okay, and the forward, it accepts a from parameter. I'll set it to 0 so that it starts from the beginning. Okay, now let's see our application. Okay, apparently we need to do a full deployment again. And here we go. See, whenever I click on it, it grows from 0 to 80. Next, I want to introduce the rotation. For that, we're going to use the transform.rotate method. So over here, I'll take this out, and I'll call transform.rotate. Sorry, it's going to be new transform.rotate, and this accepts a child. I'll set it to the icon. Now the transform.rotate accepts a child, has a child and angle property. So I'll set this to 2 times pi. For the pi, I need to import the math package, math.art or .math. Okay, then multiply it by the animation value. Alright, save it and wait for the hot reload to finish. Okay, now if you click on the icon, you'll see it's rotating, but let's say I want it to rotate only once. I'll need to divide by 80 here. Save it, wait for the hot reload, and here we go. If we want to speed up the animation, I'll change the animation duration to 500 milliseconds. So this concludes our exercise. I hope it was beneficial to you, and thank you for watching.